Everyone over here. We started learning GST with goods or service. Goods or service has to be supplied. Supply can be either interstate supply or intrastate. Interstate, what will be levied? IGST. Intrastate, what will be levied? CGST will be levied. Once GST gets levied, GST has to be collected and paid by a taxable person. Are we clear, everyone? And here we are in the chapter of registration. Who is a taxable person, everyone? Who is a taxable person? A taxable person is a person who is registered under GST or who is liable to be registered. Supposingly, I am registered person. I am a registered person also, and I will be called as a taxable person also. If I become liable and I take registration, I will collect GST and pay to the government. But if I become liable to register and I don't take registration, no, I still have to pay GST out of my own pocket. Because I did not take registration, I cannot collect and pay. And what is the benefit of a registered person? He can always collect GST and pay GST to the government. So now we are going to talk about who are the people who are liable, who are the people who are not liable to register. And that is why we are in the chapter of registration. Registration में the first chart which is there, Baba, this chart is A plus. You will have 100% one question out of this chart, A plus graded. Now listen carefully. Here we have section number 22, we have section number 23, and we have section number 24. What are the three sections, everyone? 22, 23, and 24. Section number 22 will tell you who are the person who are liable for registration. 23 will tell you who are the person not liable. 24 tells you who are the people required compulsory registration. 22 has section number 21, 2 I have deleted it, 3 and 4. Section number 21 which is there, it goes ahead and says what? Section number 21 says who will be liable? Supplier will be liable. Who will take registration? Supplier or recipient? Supplier. Where will he take registration? He will take registration in the state or union territory from where he is making taxable supply. Tell me one thing. If I am going ahead and supplying from Tamil Nadu to Delhi, I should take registration in Tamil Nadu or Delhi? Tell no. Tamil Nadu. From the state you are supplying, you should go ahead and take registration. When? When your aggregate turnover crosses 20 lakh rupees. Can you tell me what do you mean by aggregate turnover, everyone? Aggregate turnover, aggregate and turnover. Turnover means what, everyone? All your taxable supplies, all your interstate supplies, all your exempt supplies, all your export supplies. Remember one thing, it is tied to TIE 2. Taxable supplies, interstate supplies, exempt supplies and export supplies. Remember one thing, what are the four things you will include in your turnover? Taxable, interstate, exempt, export. What are the things excluded in your turnover? People, can you tell me, turnover means your purchase or sales? Sales. So if I purchase something from you and I am paying the GST under RCM, is it my turnover just because I paid the GST under RCM, or it is still your turnover? So it is not my turnover. So inward supplies, are they your turnover or not your turnover? So they are telling inward supplies under RCM is never your turnover, and also GST is never your turnover. GST is whose turnover? I collected some amount from you, I collected GST from you. Is GST my turnover or government ka turnover? Government ka turnover. So can you tell me, everyone, what are the things to be included in turnover? Taxable supplies, interstate supplies, exempt and exports. What are the things not to be included? Inward supplies under RCM and GST. Next, always remember one thing, this turnover should be aggregate. Aggregate means every state ka turnover you take. Turnover, 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 turnover. You take turnover, 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 add it. Under my PAN number, whichever state may have registration, add it and it will become what? It is PAN wise all India basis pay. The turnover is known as aggregate turnover. Always remember one thing, in your turnover, you should include supplies made on behalf of principal. Tell me one thing. Principal gave me the goods. I issued the invoice in my name. Will it come in my turnover? Yes or no? Tell no. Then what is the problem in telling yes? People, principal gave me the supplies and I went ahead and supplied. Principal went ahead and supplied and I am going ahead and supplying. And I am giving the invoice. Whose turnover? My turnover. Will I include? Not include? Include. Next, principal gave the invoice directly. I did not give the invoice. Will it come in my turnover or principal ka turnover? Principal's turnover. Can we go ahead, everyone? Next. So invoice for further supply is in the name of the agent. Always remember one thing. If invoice is in my name, then it will come in my turnover. If principal ka name, it will come in principal ka turnover. Next. Supposingly, I sent my goods to the job worker ka premise. Job worker kept the goods ready. I told job worker, one of my buyer is over there. I will give the invoice. You send the goods from your premises. Tell me one thing, job worker ka turnover or my turnover? I sent my goods to my job worker. My job worker kept my goods ready. Well, I got one order. So I told my job worker, please send the goods over there. I will send the invoice. My turnover or job worker ka turnover? My turnover over here. Supplying of goods by registered job worker always include in the turnover of the principal. Tell me one thing. I did one outward supply. You paid the GST under RCM. Just because you paid the GST, is it your turnover or my turnover? My turnover. Is my point clear till here? So it says outward supplies, tax payable under RCM always include in your turnover. Tell me one thing. Inward supplies, is it my turnover? No. Outward? Yes. Everyone over here now. They are going ahead and telling supplier will be liable in the state or union territory from where he makes what, everyone? Taxable supply if his aggregate turnover crosses 20 lakh rupees. Then they went ahead and told proviso. If you are doing taxable supplies from special category state, which is M square NT. Sir, what is M square NT? Manipur, Mizoram, Nagaland, Tripura. Then always remember, you will be liable if your aggregate turnover crosses how much, everyone? 10 lakh rupees. Tell me one thing. Normally, the limit is 20. But M square NT ke liye the limit is 10 lakh. But I want to tell you one thing. Government under section number 23(2) used the power and issued one notification. And government issued one notification saying notified category of person who will be exempted from registration. And here government went ahead and issued one notification and told if you are an exclusive supplier of goods, then you will be exempted up to what limit, everyone? 40 lakh rupees. It means exclusive supplier of goods will be exempted from registration up to what limit? 40 lakh rupees. Can I go ahead, everyone? So tell me one thing, and you know what? This 40 lakh limit is not applicable for whom? If you are a person who is required what? Compulsory registration. Means if you are required compulsory registration, then to compulsory no. What 40 lakh, what 20 lakh, what 10 lakh. Then if you are a supplier of pan masala, ice cream, aerated water I have cut, pan masala, ice cream, tobacco, fly ash, bricks, blocks or aggregate, bricks of fossil, meal or similar siliceous earth, building bricks, earthen or roofing tile, then always remember for you also 40 lakh ka limit is not available. What is the limit applicable for you? 20 lakh. If you are exercising voluntary registration or you intend to continue with registration, you are telling, sir, voluntarily I want to take registration. I am in the state of Tamil Nadu, the limit is 40 lakh and I am telling, no, I want to take voluntarily. Then what 40 lakh limit for you? Then there is no limit only for you. Can I go ahead, everyone? Next. Or if you are an intrastate supplier, in which state, everyone? M square NT or Pumas of Telangana, which I have written over here. People, if you are in M square NT or you are in Pumas of Telangana, I'll tell you the full form. M square NT or Pumas of Telangana ke liye, what limit is not there? 40 lakh limit is not there. It means for them, what is the limit? 20 lakhs. 20 lakh rupees. Now listen. You know what happened? You have to remember it like this. Very, very easy. Listen carefully. Registration limit. There are three bifurcations. It is already there in your book. Don't worry about it. It's already there. Registration limit. One is what, everyone? 10 lakh. People listen. If you are in the state of M square NT, what is M square NT? Manipur, Mizoram, Nagaland, Tripura. You are a supplier of goods, or you are a supplier of service, or you are supplying goods plus service. Always remember one thing. For you, the limit will always be how much, everyone? Anyone, any doubt till here? Next. The next one is, if you are in the state of Pumas of Telangana. Remember one thing. Pumas of Telangana. P for Puducherry. U for Uttarakhand. M for Meghalaya. A for Arunachal. S for Sikkim. And T for Telangana. Always remember, for you the limit will be, whether you are a supplier of goods or you are a supplier of service, the limit will be how much, everyone? Or you are supplying goods plus service, the limit will be. Is my point clear to all? Now, the other states which remain over here, in Himachal Pradesh, no, there are long, long oak trees. So we called oak of Himachal Pradesh. Oak of Himachal Pradesh. Listen. If you are in the state of oak of Himachal Pradesh, oak of Himachal Pradesh means what, everyone? Any other state or union territory, or you are in Assam, or you are in K for Jammu and Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh. Remember one thing, if you are a supplier of goods, or you are a supplier of goods or goods plus service, listen carefully. Actually, the limit was 20 lakh and 20 lakh only. But then government, see, earlier the limit was 20 and 10. Do you guys agree with me? Are yes or no? 20 lakh was the limit and 10 lakh was the limit. But then government went ahead and told, if you are a supplier of goods from which state? Oak of Himachal Pradesh. Then government told, we will give you the limit as how much? 40 lakh. Yes. Is my point clear to all? Everyone tell me one thing. Now I will ask you first thing. I am from the state of Manipur, limit. Supplying goods, 10 lakhs. Supplying service, 10 lakhs. I am from the state of Meghalaya. First category, second category. Second category. Arey, Meghalaya is second category. Pumas of Telangana. How much? 10 lakh, 20 lakh? 20 lakh. I am from Tamil Nadu. Supplying goods, 40. Supplying service, 20 lakh. Will you be able to remember the limit now? Now listen one thing. The limit of 40 lakh is not applicable. When? Number one, if you are required compulsory registration. If you are required compulsory registration, then you have to take compulsorily. What 40 lakh, what 20 lakh, what 10 lakh. This limit of 40 lakh is not available if you are supplying pan masala, ice cream, tobacco, bricks, earthen or roofing tile, then this limit is not available. You will get how much ka limit? 20 lakhs only. And this limit is not available for people who are taking voluntary registration. If I took voluntarily, then government is telling voluntarily, so you can take registration for 1 rupee also. Then there is no limit which is applicable. Is my point clear to all? I want to ask you guys one question. I am from the state of Assam, and I am supplying pan masala. Assam, pan masala. 40 or 20? 20 lakhs. Is my point clear to all? Everyone over here now. Now listen. So tell me one thing. Supplier will be liable in the state or union territory from where he makes what supply, everyone? Taxable supply. When is aggregate process to how much? 20 lakh, 10 lakhs, and now you have learned about 40 lakhs also. Now tell me one thing. I went ahead and deposited some money in the bank, people, and bank went ahead and gave me interest. I went ahead and deposited, or I gave loan to the bank, or I put some deposit in the bank, and bank went ahead and gave me some interest. My question is, am I a supplier of goods or am I a supplier of service? If I put money in the bank and bank gives me interest, I am a supplier of service. Do you guys agree with me? Correct? I am in the state of Assam. I am in the state of Assam. I am doing taxable supplies of 38 lakh rupees. I have interest income of 2 lakh rupees. Okay. I have interest income supposingly 1 lakh rupees. My question to you guys, taxable supply is supply of goods. Supposingly interest income, I have. Interest income is what? Supplying of goods or supplying of service? Array, interest means you are giving what? Service. Do you guys agree with me? So I am a supplier of service. Can you tell me if I am supplying goods also and service also, my limit will be 40 lakh or 20 lakh rupees? People, supplier of goods, exclusive supplier of goods, only the limit is 40 lakh. Otherwise, goods and service, the limit will become how much? Correct, no? So can you tell me my limit will be 40 lakh or my limit will be 20 lakh? Tell no, 20 lakhs. But then people went and told the government, sir, how is it possible that nobody will have 1 rupee ka interest also? Yes or no? And hence government went ahead and told, even if you have interest income, I will still deem that you are a supplier of goods and I will give you a higher limit of how much, everyone? That is what they have gone ahead and told over here, that person will be deemed as exclusive supplier of goods even if he has what, everyone? Even if he is engaged in exempt supply of service by way of extending deposit, loans and advance, so far as the consideration is represented by way of interest or discount. Is my point clear to all? Can we go ahead, everyone? Tell me one thing. In section number 21, what did we understand? We understood, first of all, who is liable to take registration? Supplier. When will he take, everyone? When will he become liable? When his aggregate turnover crosses 40 lakh, 20 lakh or 10 lakh. Can you tell me 10 lakh in which state? M square, NT. 20 lakh in which state? Pumas of Telangana. And 40 lakh in which state? Oak of Himachal Pradesh. Is my point clear to all? Next, let's go ahead, everyone, over here now. Remember one thing, but in this case, your aggregate turnover mein interest will be included. Composition scheme mein to what we do? Interest we ignore only. We don't even consider in turnover also. We don't include it in aggregate turnover also. But in case of registration chapter, interest is included in the aggregate turnover. But because of interest, you will not be considered as supplier of service. You will still be deemed as supplier of goods. Is my point clear to all? Next. If interest crosses 40 lakh rupees. Okay. Sir, 38 lakh plus interest is 3 lakh. What is the turnover? 41 lakh. 41 lakh means you have already crossed 40 lakh rupees. Can we go ahead, everyone? It means have you crossed 40 lakh rupees? Do you have to take registration? Yes. Everyone over here now. Next. Sir, section number 22, 2 is total bakwas, so I have deleted it. So 23 over here, it goes ahead and says, if you transfer your business as going concern to someone, that front person has to go ahead and take registration. It says, whenever you are going ahead and transferring your business, you are the transferor, you are a registered person. You transfer your business as going concern, always remember, who will have to take registration? The transferee. And when will he take registration? From the date of transfer or succession. I went ahead and transferred my business to you. I am the transferor, you are the transferee. Will you take registration or you will not take registration? You will have to take registration. From which day? From the date of transfer or succession. Section number 24 goes ahead and talks about amalgamation ka case. Chalo, I'll go ahead and tell you. It talks about basically transfer because of court orders. It talks about what, everyone? In case of amalgamation or demerger pursuant to court or tribunal ka order, who will have to take registration? Supposingly, A Limited and B Limited is there. A Limited and B Limited ka directors decided that A Limited and B Limited should get merged. Okay? They decided on this date that they will get merged. But then, after that, they went to NCLT. Told, sir, we want to become one AB Limited. NCLT went ahead and gave the order that, okay, you are now AB Limited, and NCLT order gave you retrospectively saying that you are one AB Limited from 1st of January, you are AB Limited. My question over here, now you have to take GST registration, but when will you become GST registration ke liye liable? You have to take GST registration, right? So they go ahead and tell, you take this order, go to the Registrar of Companies. Registrar of Companies will give you a certificate of incorporation that you are incorporated. Once the certificate of incorporation will come, no, you will become liable. Is my point clear to all? Can we go ahead? You know, why do you have to always know when do you become liable? Because the day you become liable, you should take registration within the next 30 days. And that is why knowing when you become liable is very, very important. Everyone over here now. So it says, in case of amalgamation, demerger, pursuant to a court or tribunal order, always remember one thing, who has to take registration? Transferee. Old company or new company? New company. The amalgamated company has to go ahead and take registration. From which date? From the date the ROC issues the certificate of incorporation. Everyone over here now. Section number 23, 1 goes ahead and says, section number 21 has 21A and B. Section number 21A goes ahead and says, if you are a person who is exclusively supplying goods, services on both that are not liable to tax or wholly exempted from tax. So for an example, I'm going ahead and supplying nil rated item, wholly exempted item, non-taxable item, alcoholic liquor. Am I charging any tax or I'm not charging any tax? If I'm not charging any tax, Ramesh, suppose the government told Ramesh, if you're not charging any tax, you're not liable for registration. It says over here that any person exclusively engaged in supplying what, everyone? Those goods, services or both which are not liable to tax or wholly exempt from tax, you are not liable for registration. Even if my turnover is more than 5 crore, 10 crore, 20 crore, doesn't matter, because if I don't have to collect anything and pay, I will not be required to take registration. The next one is, who is not required? Agriculturist. Who is not required, everyone? Agriculturist. Agriculturist can be an individual or HUF, and it says, you know what is the definition of agriculturist? It can be an individual or HUF who does what? Cultivation of land. Everything written in red. Individual or HUF who does cultivation of land either by own labor, either he is putting his own sweat in the land, or by family labor, he is getting his family to work, or by servants on wages, or by hired laborers under personal or family supervision. Me and my family are standing and people are working, then we are whom, everyone? Agriculturist. And agriculturist, whatever he earns from what? To the extent of supply out of produce of cultivation of land, he is not required to take registration. Always remember, if I am an agriculturist, I am cultivating and selling, even if my turnover is 5 crore rupees, I am not required to take registration. Just a second. Is the point clear to all? So can you tell me who are the people not required to take registration? If you are exclusive supplying, nil rated, wholly exempted, non-taxable supply, not required to take registration. If you are an agriculturist, you are not required to take registration. Now we are going to talk about who are the people who are required compulsory registration. It says, notwithstanding anything contained in section number 22(1), following persons are required what, everyone? Compulsory registration. It means these people will be required to take registration compulsorily. Who are the people who are required to take registration compulsory? Number 1, person making interstate taxable supply. So people, if you are supplying from one state to another state, you are required compulsory registration. But exemption was granted. If you are a supplier of handicraft goods or craftsman goods, which are made by what, everyone? Hand. Remember one thing, handicraft goods or craftsman goods which are mainly made by hand, then you are exempted up to 20 lakh or 10 lakh. It means even if you are supplying from one state to another state, government told if you are a handicraft supplier or craftsman goods supplier, you are not required to take registration compulsorily. Next. Interstate supplier of taxable service also is not required compulsory registration up to 20 lakh or 10 lakh. Can I go ahead and ask you like this, everyone? Interstate supplier is required compulsory registration, whether it is interstate supplier of goods or interstate supplier of service. But then government went ahead and told if you are a supplier of service up to 20 lakh or 10 lakh, you are exempted from compulsory. Array, this exemption was given under which power? Government used the power under section number 23(2) and exempted people from compulsory registration. Then in case of goods, if you are a supplier of handicraft goods or craftsman goods which are mainly made by hand, then also you are exempted up to 20 lakh or 10 lakh. Remember one thing, the exemption is not given up to 40 lakh. It is only up to 20 lakh rupees or 10 lakh rupees. 20 lakh rupees for all the state, 10 lakh rupees for which state? M square NT. And sir, supposingly I am a supplier of other goods, then interstate supplier of other goods, then I am supplying mobile phone from one state to another. Compulsory registration. Is my point clear to all? So if I go ahead and tell you, interstate supplier can be of goods also. If I am supplying handicraft goods, limit 20 lakh or 10 lakh. If I am going ahead and supplying other goods, then other than handicraft goods, then compulsory. If I am a supplier of service, then 20 lakhs or 10 lakhs. Is my point clear to all? Everyone, remember one thing in the exam, they will go ahead and tell you, there is one handicraft supplier who is making goods mainly by machine. Then there is no exemption, compulsory registration. There is one handicraft supplier who is making goods by hand and machine equally. Compulsory registration, because it should be mainly by hand. More hand should be used. Then only the exemption is given up to 20 lakh or 10 lakh. Next. The next is casual taxable person making taxable supply. You know casual taxable person who is coming from one state to another state for exhibition, etc. That person also has to take compulsory registration. But then exemption was given. Who are the people who are exempted? If you are a casual taxable person making taxable supply of handicraft goods, or up to what limit everyone? 20 lakh or 10 lakh. Tell me one thing. Casual taxable person are required compulsory registration. But the exemption is given to whom? Handicraft supplier. Up to what limit everyone? 20 lakh or 10 lakh. Next. Sir, if you are required to pay tax under RCM, you always have to take compulsory registration. So for an example, there is a director. Director went ahead and supplied me some services. I am a company. Company should pay GST under? Tell no, company should pay GST under RCM. So company has to take compulsory registration. You are the director, no? You are the director. Your turnover, even if it is crossing 20 lakh, 30 lakh, 40 lakh, 50 lakh, exempted. Person making taxable supply, tax is always payable under RCM. Now, if you are making a taxable supply and I am always paying your tax under RCM, why will you take registration? You are exempted from registration. Is my point clear to all? People watching at home, are we all clear till here? People clear? Next. Let's go ahead. Everyone over here now, listen. The next is, if you are a person who is required to pay tax under section number 9.5, that is the e-commerce operator under section number 9.5. People, e-commerce operator under section number 9.5 is which e-commerce operator? Ola, Uber, etc. They are talking about section number 9.5 wala e-commerce operator. I am not going ahead and talking much about it now, because e-commerce ka chapter mein this will come again. Can I go ahead, everyone? The next one over here is, if you are a NRTP and you are making taxable supplies, you have to take compulsory registration. Who is an NRTP, everyone? Baba, who is an NRTP? Non-resident taxable person who is coming from other country temporarily. The government says you have to take compulsory registration. The next is TDS deductor under section number 51 has to take compulsory registration. The next is person making taxable supply on behalf of other taxable person as an agent or otherwise. Everyone over here, I am an agent. My principal is a taxable person. My principal is a registered person. I have to take compulsory registration. If I am supplying in my own invoice also, remember one thing, because my principal is a taxable person, I have to take compulsory registration. My question to you guys, what if my principal is not a registered person? If my principal is not a registered person, do I have to take compulsory registration or not required? Not required. Remember one thing, always you will take registration compulsorily only if your boss is a registered person. Chalo, I'll ask you one thing. Everyone over here, I am supplying on behalf of agriculturist. I am an APMC agent, Agricultural Produce Marketing Committee ka agent. Who am I, everyone? APMC agent. Now here there is an agriculturist. I am a APMC agent. I am supplying on whose behalf, everyone? Agriculturist. I am taking the goods from agriculturist and I am supplying. I am whose agent, everyone? Agriculturist ka agent. Am I required compulsory registration or not required? Tell no. Not required. Why? Because my principal is not a registered person. I don't have to take compulsory registration. Can you tell me when will I take registration then? Only when my turnover exceeds 20 lakh rupees. Only when my commission is more than 20 lakh. Do you guys agree with me? But you know what? In the chapter of agriculture, I will show you one part where it is told services by agricultural produce marketing committee ka agent or commission agent by selling or purchasing of agricultural produce, the commission is also exempted. Now my question over here, if my commission is also exempted, it means my everything is exempted. If I am a person who is supplying exempt supply, registration is not required. And hence, this is the point which I've gone ahead and told over here by a clarification. Everyone over here, see. Always remember, if you are a commission agent under APMC Act and you are making supplies on behalf of whom? Agriculture is, because agriculture is not a taxable person, you are not required to take compulsory registration. You are not liable for compulsory registration under section number 24. Also, it says, also their services are exempted from GST. And hence, they are not liable under section number 21A. Is my point clear to all? Can we go ahead, everyone? Tell me one thing. I am an agricultural produce marketing committee agent. My boss is an agriculturist. Am I required compulsory registration? Not required. Not required. My commission is more than 20 lakh. Am I required registration or not required? Still not required because my commission is exempt. Done, everyone? Next. The next is input service distributor. Always remember one thing, ISDs are required separate registration. E-commerce operator who has to collect TCS under section number 52 has to go ahead and take compulsory registration. Next, OIDR supplying to unregistered person. People outside India say, if OIDR is supplying, Netflix, Amazon Prime, etc. is supplying from outside India, in India, to registered person, then registered person will pay GST under RCM. If they are supplying to unregistered person, then they have to take compulsory registration in India. And that is what is told. OIDR, overseas OIDR, supplying services. Supplying to whom? Unregistered person. Unregistered person has to take compulsory registration. Every person supplying online, this is money gaming. Mobile, wherever you by chance, you have to remember money. Why did I write mobile? By mistake it is. It has to be what, everyone? Online money gaming. Everyone over here, online money gaming. It says over here, sir, every person supplying what? Online money gaming from outside India. Again, pokerkhelo.com from US is supplying online money gaming in India. Always remember, they have to take compulsory registration, collect GST from the customer and pay GST to the government. The next one is such other person or class of person which is notified by the government on recommendation of council. And this last point which is there, no, this last point I am not telling you now. Why I am not telling you now? I will tell you when I am doing the TCS ka chapter. When we are doing the TCS ka chapter, no? When we are doing the TCS ka chapter, then I will reconnect this point. Is my point clear to all? I want to tell you who are the people who are required compulsory registration. People, tell me one thing. Who are the people who are required compulsory registration? You just remember creations. Creations are those people who are required compulsory registration. C for casual taxable person. Always required compulsory registration. R for if you are required to pay tax under RCM, you are required compulsory registration. E for e-commerce operator who has to deduct TCS has required compulsory registration. Besides that, A for agent of a taxable person is also required compulsory registration. If you are a TDS deductor or you are a TCS collector, you are required compulsory registration. I'll do one thing. E may know. I will make per e-commerce operator under section number 95. That Ola, Uber, etc. Those people. Okay, everyone? Then I for interstate supplier are required compulsory registration. I for ISD is required compulsory registration. O for OIDR is required compulsory registration. O for online money gaming wala person is required compulsory registration. N for NRTP is required compulsory registration. S for such other person notified by government on recommendation of council also will be required compulsory registration. Are we all clear till here? Who are the people required compulsory registration, everyone? Remember, CTP, casual taxable person. R for person required to pay tax under RCM. E for e-commerce operator under section number 95. A for agent of a taxable person. T for TDS deductor and TCS collector. I for interstate supplier. I for ISD. O for OIDR. O for online money gaming ka supplier. N for NRTP. S for such other person notified by the government on recommendation of council are also required to take compulsory registration. Everyone over here now, listen, this last point which is there, I am not told you now, this point, when I teach you the TCS ka chapter, no, that time I will tell you that you have already learned, because there we will be talking about it. Are we all clear till here? Please come to the next page now. Everyone over here, who are the people liable for registration? Who are the people liable for registration? Section number 22 and section number 24 went ahead and told us those are the people who are liable for registration. Now once you become liable for registration, it comes section number 25. Section number 25 goes ahead and tells you what are the procedure for registration. Section number 25 tells you what, everyone? What are the procedures for registration? Section number 25 may, there is section number 25.1, section number 25.2 till section number 25.9 over here. Can you see section number 25.9? Yes. See, section number 25.1 to section number 25.9. Let's go ahead and first talk about section number 25.1. Section number 25.1 goes ahead and says, who are the, whenever a person is liable, he should apply for registration within how many days, everyone? 30 days. Whenever you become liable, you should always apply for registration how many days, everyone? 30 days. Sir, proviso. If you are a CTP or NRTP, always remember one thing, if you are a CTP or you are a NRTP, government says, Ramesh, if you have to apply within 30 days, 30 days mein to the exhibition only will get over. You will run away. If I tell you, come to my state and apply for registration within how many days? 30 days. 30 days to the exhibition only will get over. You will only run away. So do one thing. You should take registration how many days prior? 5 days prior to the commencement of business. Sir, if you are a SEZ unit or a developer, you should always take what, everyone? Separate registration. Tell me one thing. I have a normal unit, I have an SEZ unit. Always remember, you should take normal unit ka separate registration, SEZ unit ka separate registration. Sir, I am in the territorial waters of India. If you are in the territorial waters of India, always remember, you should take registration in the nearest coastal state or union territory. Is my point clear to all? Everyone over here, listen carefully. Can you tell me, section number 25, 120 and told what? It told, if you become liable, you should always apply for registration within how many days? The day you become liable, within how many days? 30 days. Sir, if I am a CTP or an RTP, how many days prior? 5 days prior. Sir, if I am an SEZ unit, take separate registration. If you are in the territorial waters of India, take the nearest coastal state may registration. Is my point clear till here? Now, everyone listen to me very carefully. Everyone over here. Now, whenever you are going ahead and applying, this point I will talk little later. I want to first talk about section number 25.2. Please come to section number 25.2. Sir, why are you not telling that? Because you have to learn this first and then you have to go back. Everyone over here. Section number 25.2 goes ahead and says, people over here. Section number 25.2 goes ahead and says, if you have multiple place of business, if you have what, everyone? Multiple place of business in one state. Sir, I have supposingly one shop, one warehouse, one factory and one office. Can I take only one registration? Yes, Baba, you can take only one registration. This will become your principal place of business. All others will become what? Additional place of business. But sir, if I want, can I take separate registration for all of them? Tell no. Yes, if you want, you can take separate registration also. Section number 25.2 is allowing you. It says, sir, if person is having multiple place of business in a state or union territory, he can be granted separate registration for each place of business. Rule number 11 says nothing. Separate applications will go. Officer will do separate verification and separate registration certificate will be granted. See, separate application has to be given with respect to each place. Rule number 9 and 10 will apply mutatis mutandis. Rule number 9 and 10 means verification will happen separately for each place and separate registration certificate will be granted. Is my point clear to all? Everyone over here, tell me one thing. If I have multiple place of business, can I take multiple registration? Yes. Section number 25(3) goes ahead and says, I want to take voluntary registration. I am not liable, but I want to take. Are you allowed? Yes. Section number 25(3) says, if person is not liable also, he can get registration done voluntarily. But if you take voluntary registration, no, you will become a taxable person. You will become a registered person if you take voluntary registration. And a registered person, you have to do all the things which are to be done by a registered person, like take ITC, charge GST, set off, pay the balance, file the return. Everything has to be done because you are now a registered person. So it says, person though not liable under 22 or 24, you can get registered voluntarily. What are the effects of becoming voluntarily registered, everyone? All the effects of all the provision of the Act as applicable to a registered person shall apply to you. It means you can take ITC, you can charge GST, you can file your return, and there is no lock-in period. If you took voluntary registration today, tomorrow if you want, you can go ahead and cancel. Section number 25(4) and 25(5) talks about distinct person. What is section number 25(4) and 25(5) telling everyone? It talks about distinct person. What is distinct person? Same state. I took separate registration. It will be what? Distinct person. One state registered, another state registered. It will become what? Distinct person. One state registered, another state not registered. Still I will become what, everyone? Distinct person. Is my point clear to all? Everyone over here. It says person has obtained or required to obtain multiple registration in one state or multiple state. With respect to each registration, you will be treated as what, everyone? Distinct person. Person has obtained or required to obtain registration with respect to an establishment. Has another establishment, then it will be treated as what, everyone? Distinct person. The first one told because of registration you will become different person. Same state, separate registration, distinct person. One state registered, another state registered, distinct person. The second one told one state you are registered, one state you are not registered, still you will be treated as what, everyone? Distinct person. Everyone over here. Sixth one says PAN is mandatory for registration. If you are a TDS deductor, you may be granted TAN in order to be eligible for grant of registration. And TDS deductor, always remember, for registration rule number 12 is applicable. How will the TDS deductor and TCS collector take registration? They have to go ahead and apply in GST RC 07. Part A and Part B they will give the detail, and registration will be given within how many days? 3 working days. Not very important. Note, proper officer, sir, I took registration as a TDS deductor or a TCS collector. Can I cancel my registration? Yes. It says proper officer, upon request made by the registered person or upon inquiry or pursuant to any other proceeding, is satisfied that person is no longer liable to deduct or collect, then proper officer may cancel your registration. Tell me one thing, everyone. What did we learn till now? First, I told you about section number 22, 23, 24. 22 told person who are liable. 23 told person who are not liable. 24 told about compulsory registration. Are we all clear till here? Now, the next one, section number 25 came. Section number 25(1) went ahead and told, if you become liable, you should take registration within how many days? 30 days. CTP and RTP, how many days prior? 5 days. SEZ, separate registration. TWI, nearest coastal state. Section number 25(2) went ahead and told, if you have multiple place of business, you can take multiple. 25(3) told, voluntarily, if you want to become a voluntary bakra, saying I want to take registration, I want to take registration, you can go ahead and take registration voluntarily. 25(4) and 5 went ahead and told about distinct person. 25(6) went ahead and told about PAN is mandatory. Whenever you want to take registration, PAN is mandatory. But TDS deductor can also use what, everyone? TAN. Now, 6A, 6B, 6C, and 6D talks about Aadhaar authentication. 25, 6A, 6B, 6C, and 6D talks about what, everyone? Aadhaar authentication. Actually, GST mein what happened? No, people are issuing bogus invoice. You guys know, everyone, what is bogus invoice? No. You want to take credit? I will give you bogus invoice. I will not supply. I will just give you invoice, take credit. Now, in this scenario, what government went ahead and told, we will tighten the process of registration. We will not give registration just like that. If anyone wants registration, then first they have to do what, everyone? Aadhaar authentication. It means nothing. When you are applying for registration, no? Here, you have to click that, yes, sir, I want to do Aadhaar authentication. Can you see this is your registration ka form? Okay, everyone, this is your registration ka form. Here, you have to say, yes, I would like to do my Aadhaar authentication. Can you see on the right hand side? If you tell, yes, I want to do Aadhaar authentication, one link will come in your mail. Click on the link, put your Aadhaar number, put your OTP, and Aadhaar is verified. If you do Aadhaar authentication, listen carefully, everyone. If you do Aadhaar authentication, no, your registration will come only in 7 days. But sir, what if I don't do? Your registration will come after 30 days. Is my point clear to all? So that is why, if you do Aadhaar authentication, no, they will not do any further check. They will give you the registration within how many days? 7 days. But if you don't do Aadhaar authentication, no, first the officer will come to your premises. He will do physical premises ka verification. Okay. He will take your photograph and then only registration will be granted, and that registration will take how many days? 30 days. Are we all clear till here? Next. Everyone over here now. Who is this? Yashwant. Hey Yashwant. Off your video. Aram se is sleeping and watching. Ha. And phone me also is talking. And what are you watching? Hey Yashwant. He's not listening. He's muted me also. Aram se is sleeping. He's watching the class, talking phone on girlfriend and watching also. Okay, I'm understanding everything. Hey, run off. Everyone here now. People, now listen. Who are the people who are undergoing Aadhaar authentication? Who are the people who are undergoing Aadhaar authentication? Listen to me. Who have to undergo Aadhaar authentication? Listen carefully. Aadhaar authentication is told in 6A, 6B, 6C, and 6D. There are 4 subsections which are there relating to Aadhaar authentication. Actually, what happened? No, Aadhaar authentication came only from 1st of April 2020. Aadhaar authentication came when, everyone? 1st of April 2020. Now, tell me, when did GST come? 1st of July 2000. Aadhaar authentication came on 1st of April 2000. It means during this period, there was no Aadhaar authentication in between. Correct? So now, already registered person also had to do Aadhaar authentication, but government told, we will notify from when you will have to do Aadhaar authentication. As of now, not required. But then government went ahead and told, from 1st of April, those people whom we will notify under 6B has to do Aadhaar authentication. Those people whom we will notify under 6B has to undergo Aadhaar authentication. Who are the people who have to undergo Aadhaar authentication? They went ahead and told, if you are an individual, you have to undergo Aadhaar authentication. Can I go ahead, everyone? Then they went ahead and told, under 6C, under 25(6)(c), if you are AMK, you have to undergo Aadhaar authentication. Who are the people notified under 6D, 6C? Authorized signatory, managing and authorized partner, and karta. Then you have to undergo Aadhaar authentication. Are we all clear till here? Can you tell me who are the people who has to undergo Aadhaar authentication if I ask you? If you are, I am the karta, then you have to undergo Aadhaar authentication. That's all. Who has to undergo Aadhaar authentication? I for individual. Individual has to undergo Aadhaar authentication. A for authorized signatory has to undergo Aadhaar authentication. M for managing and authorized partner has to undergo Aadhaar authentication. Karta has to undergo Aadhaar authentication. Is my point clear to all? People, now section number 25, 6D went ahead and told who are the people who are not required to undergo Aadhaar authentication. 6D went ahead and told about what, everyone? Who are the people who are not required to do Aadhaar authentication? Section number 25, 6D went ahead and told what, everyone? Who are the people Not required Aadhaar authentication, and that is over here, everyone, on the right hand side. New Delhi PSU. How will you remember? NDL PSU. N for if you are not a citizen of India, you are not. You don't have Aadhaar only. What Aadhaar authentication? Not required. D for department or establishment of central government, state government. L for local authority. P for public sector undertaking. S for statutory body, or you are a person who has been granted UIN under section number 25(9), then you are also not required to undergo Aadhaar authentication. Can you tell me, everyone? See here, section number 25 6A, 6B, 6C and 6D told about what, everyone? Aadhaar authentication. Is my point clear to all? Section number 25 6A told if you are already registered person, you have to undergo, but from a date to be notified. 6B went ahead and told you have to undergo if you are a individual. 6C went ahead and told authorized signatory, managing an authorized partner and Karta has to undergo Aadhaar authentication. 6D went ahead and told what? Who are not required? Who are not required? New Delhi PSU. Who are New Delhi PSU? Not a citizen of India, Department of Central Government, State Government, Local Authority, New Delhi, Local Authority, Public Sector Undertaking, Statutory Body or UN holder. You are not required to undergo Aadhaar authentication. Are we all clear till here? Everyone over here now. Now, this much I have told you, no? Now I want to go back to this one to revise. Please come back. Everyone over here now. Now, whenever you are going ahead and taking registration, always remember, people, registration ke liye there are 3 steps. First is what? You have to give your application. Then what will happen? Verification will happen. Who will do? Proper officer will do the verification. And then what will happen? Registration certificate will be granted. Is my point clear to all? Rule number 8 says, please give your application. Rule number 9 says, verification. Rule number 10 says, registration certificate will be granted. So people over here, let's start. Once you become liable, you should take registration. So you will give application. Rule number 8 says, every person who becomes liable except NTO. Why except NTO? Because for them, different form is there. For NRTP, REC09 is there. TDS deductor, TCS collector, REC07 is there. OIDR and online mobile. Money gaming. Also, it is which form, everyone? REC10. Remember one thing, for these people it is different. For all other people, they have to go ahead and file which form, everyone? They should declare GST REC01 May first. People, how will you go ahead and take registration? You should go online and file this form. Which form? REC01. REC01 May first, part A has to be filled. What is part A, everyone? You have to declare your PAN number. When you are filling the form, you should put your PAN number. They are telling validation from the CBDT database will be done and also verification will be done through your mobile number and email address. And then you have to put your state or union territory. Once verification is done, you will be granted what? Temporary reference number will be generated. Now you have to go ahead and fill part B. Sir, where is the part B? This is the part B. This is the part B. You have to give your business ka detail. You have to go ahead and give partner ka detail, authorized signatory ka detail, authorized representative ka detail, principal place of business ka detail, additional place of business ka detail, then goods and service ka detail, state specific information, then Aadhaar authentication. And then you have to do the verification and submit the form. Everyone over here, see. They are telling when you are submitting part B, you should sign and submit along with the document. Now here is the most important part. It says applicant opt for Aadhaar authentication or he did not opt for Aadhaar authentication. This is a very important point. If you say yes, where? Here. If you told a yes that I will do my Aadhaar authentication, you know what will happen? You will tell a yes over here and you will submit this form. But now what will happen? One link will come in your email ID. You have to click on the link. You have to put the OTP and your Aadhaar will get verified. Now within how many days may you get registration? 7 days. So they are going ahead and telling, listen, if you tell a yes, then what is the date of submission of the application? It is the date of Aadhaar authentication. It means, supposingly, people here. I submitted the part B today. 1st of January, I submitted the part B. Part B, filled and submitted. But I told Aadhaar authentication, I will do yes. Did I do the Aadhaar authentication till now, or I have not done? I have not done. What will happen? One link will come. I have to click on the link, put my Aadhaar number, put the OTP, and Aadhaar will get verified. Always remember, you are given 15 days to do it. How many days, everyone? So till 15 January, you will be given the time. If you go online, and people tell me one thing, if you submit your part B over here, if you submit part B, is your form complete or something is pending? Tell no. What is pending? Aadhaar authentication. You know what will happen? Click on the link which comes in your mail. Part B you submitted. But what is pending from your end? Aadhaar authentication. If supposingly 10th of January ko I went online and did the Aadhaar authentication. What is the date of submission of application? 10th of January. That day, officer will pick up your form and start the verification. Is my point clear? Supposingly, if I did not do the Aadhaar authentication within 15 days, then 16th of January will be deemed as the date of submission and the application will be picked up for verification. Is my point clear to all? Everyone see what they are telling. They are telling over here, sir, the date of submission will be what date, everyone? Date of Aadhaar authentication or 15 days from the submission of part B. Can I go ahead? It is either the date of Aadhaar authentication. If you did not do the Aadhaar authentication, then 15 days from the date of submission of part B. And acknowledgement on receipt of application GSTR acknowledgement will be given to you. Always remember one thing, when you are filling your part B, if you are a casual taxable person, you have to pay your tax also in advance, only then the registration will be given to you. Can I go ahead, everyone? Now listen. I submitted my part B. I told Aadhaar authentication I will not do. If you say no to Aadhaar authentication, the day, is there anything pending from your end or not? Nothing is pending. Nothing is pending. So the day you submit, the actual date of submission of part B only is your date of submission, and one acknowledgement will be given that your form has been submitted. Is my point clear to all? You know what you did? You told, I will do Aadhaar authentication. You told, I will do Aadhaar authentication. You told, I will do Aadhaar authentication. You went online and did your Aadhaar authentication also, supposingly on 10th of January. People, when did you do your Aadhaar authentication? 10th of January. You clicked, yes, I want to do Aadhaar authentication. 10th of January, you did your Aadhaar authentication. Okay? But you know what? Portal identified you. That, sir, this fellow is very dangerous. Something is fishy with this guy. They will not grant you the registration. You know what? Now they will call you. Hey, come. Sir, your name? Ibil. They will call Ibil. Hey, Ibil, you come. They will call him. Okay? They will call him. Even if you have done the Aadhaar authentication, they will not start verification of your form. You know why? Because the portal, GST portal, is now AI integrated. GST portal will identify risky kind of people and they will call, hey, you come. Why? They will call them and do the biometric based Aadhaar authentication. You know what they are telling? See, one star I have put. Can you see star? And this is the only amendment in GST for your November exam. This is the only amendment. Nothing. See here. If you are a person who is identified, everyone, if you are a person who is identified, then biometric based Aadhaar authentication will be done. Biometric based Aadhaar authentication means you will be called to one facilitation center. There they will tell you, give your thumb impression, show the original document. See, biometric based Aadhaar authentication, taking of photograph and verification of what? Original document which were uploaded along with the application at one of the facilitation center notified, and the application shall be deemed to be complete only after completion of the process. Tell me one thing, if you are not being identified by the portal, then will biometric based Aadhaar authentication happen or it will not happen? It will not happen. But even after doing Aadhaar authentication, if the portal identified you, then will you be called for biometric based Aadhaar authentication? Yes. Are we clear? And your application will be deemed to be complete only after you have gone in and done what? the biometric based Aadhaar authentication. And you know what? This rule is applicable. Earlier it was applicable to Gujarat and Puducherry for your November 24. Now they have gone ahead and made it applicable to whom? Andhra Pradesh. This is the amendment which is there. Are we clear, everyone? Earlier it was applicable only to whom, everyone? Gujarat and Puducherry. Now biometric based Aadhaar authentication is made applicable to the state of Andhra Pradesh also. That's all, everyone. ठीक है? चलो. Now, sir, I submitted my application. What will happen now? Officer will start the verification of the form. Correct or not? Now, when the officer is going ahead and doing the verification, he will examine the application and he will examine the accompanying document, whether you put your photograph only or your dog's photograph, yes or no. So he has to check. So he will start the checking. Now, if people, now officer is checking. Officer is telling application is in order. Application is in order. Someone is telling, sir, AP has become very risky too. Yes, Andhra Pradesh also government found it risky and government have gone ahead and now introduced for Andhra Pradesh. You will see in future, now upcoming attempt when you will see, no, you will see it is made applicable to whole of India also. That change has come, but for you guys, what is applicable? Gujarat, Puducherry and Andhra Pradesh. Everyone over here now, listen. Everyone over here now. So if now, people, officer is doing the verification, two things he will check always. One is what? Application. One, he will check what? One, he will check the application. Second, he will check Aadhaar authentication. If application is done, Aadhaar authentication also done, 7 days में registration done. ठीक है? If application is fine, Aadhaar में there is a problem, he will come for physical verification of the place of business. Let's read. See, application is fine, but person is notified under 25(6)(d). It means you are not required only. Who are not required? Who are not required, everyone? New Delhi, PSU. If you are a person under New Delhi, PSU, you are not required Aadhaar authentication. Application is fine. Aadhaar authentication not required. No problem. Within 7 days, your application will be approved and you will be granted registration certificate. Can I go ahead, everyone? Registration certificate will be issued in GST RC 06 and it will show your principal place of business and additional place of business shall be made available on the, and the GST certificate will be made available to you on the GST portal and GST number will be given to you. Sir, application is fine. Aadhaar authentication required. Who are required, everyone? Who are required? Individual, authorized signatory, managing and authorized partner, and Karta. These people are required Aadhaar authentication. You are required. You opted. You told, yes, I will do. And Aadhaar authentication successful also. People, application is in order. Application is in order. Aadhaar authentication required, opted, successful. Aadhaar authentication is done. Within how many days? 7 days. They will approve and they will grant you the registration certificate. Can I go ahead, everyone? First, tell me one thing. First case was what? Application was in order. Aadhaar authentication not required. Within how many days? 7 days. Application is in order. Aadhaar authentication required, opted, successful. 7 days. Second case done. Third case. Application is in order. Aadhaar authentication required, opted also. I told I will do also. But I never clicked on the link, or I clicked on the link, OTP came on some other number which is not there with me only. So failed to authenticate Aadhaar. Or at the time of application you did not opt only. Then you know what will happen? First physical verification will happen. And other document can also be verified by the officer. Officer will come to your place of business. He will tell, okay, fine, Ramesh, you don't have Aadhaar number. Show me your driving license. He will see your other document. And then within how many days? 30 days, he will approve and grant the registration certificate. Is the point clear to all? Next. Sir, my application is in order. Aadhaar authentication required, opted, successful also. But you know what, everyone? A person has undergone Aadhaar authentication but is identified by the portal on the data analysis and risk parameter for carrying out physical verification. Portal identified you. Portal identified and you told, portal told he has done Aadhaar authentication but his physical verification of place of business should be done. So beta, even after doing Aadhaar authentication, no. First they will do your physical verification of place of business and other document and then registration will be given within how many days? Within 30 days, they will approve and grant you the registration certificate. Everyone over here, tell me one thing. Application is in order, Aadhaar authentication not required. How many days? Tell no. Application is in order, Aadhaar authentication not required. 7 days. Application is in order, Aadhaar authentication required, opted, successful. 7 days, 7 working days. Can I go ahead, everyone? Application is in order, Aadhaar authentication required, opted, failed, did not opt, or portal identified you. 7 days or 30 days? 30 days, the application will be approved and registration certificate will be given. Everyone over here now, listen. Application is fine. Aadhaar authentication done also. But you know what? Here, the portal identified you, know. Here the proper officer identified you. Proper officer with the approval of officer authorized, which is basically greater than assistant commissioner, deems it fit to carry out physical verification of the place of business. Officer who was verifying your form, no, they went ahead and told what? Everything looks fine, but still I think Aadhaar authentication done, but still I want to do physical verification of his place of business. Proper officer is telling, can you do it? Yes. So people, see, either you failed to authenticate Aadhaar, or you did not opt, it means again you failed, or portal identified you, or proper officer identified you. Remember, in all of the cases, first physical verification will be done, and then within 30 days only, your registration will be approved and registration certificate will be given. Can I go ahead, everyone? Now people tell me one thing. Aadhaar to you understood. If Aadhaar mein there is a problem, then always they will come for what? Physical verification of place of business. Now what happened? Officer was checking. People, next case. Officer was checking. Application found deficient. Aadhaar is fine. Aadhaar required, opted, successful, everything is fine. But where is the problem? Application. Might be application means the document which you gave are all document. He want new documents. Old rental agreement you give. Then what will happen? First he will give a notice in GST RC 03 within how many days? 7 working days. You have to give clarification. CID. CID means what? CID. Clarification. Information document. CID. Clarification. Information document. Within how many days you have to give? In RC 04 within 7 working days. Before students ask, I will tell you, you don't remember the form number also, it is okay. Okay, everyone? Now, sir, if you give the clarification, proper officer is satisfied by your clarification, within the next 7 working days, he will approve and he'll give you the registration certificate. But sir, if proper officer is not satisfied with my reply, or I did not reply within 7 working days, then if I did not reply only within 7 working days, then also they are going ahead and telling proper officer will record the reason and he will reject the application and inform you in GST RC 05. People, tell me one thing. My application mein there is a problem. Aadhaar there is no problem. For application ka problem, what will they do? They'll send you one love letter. In which form? GST RC 03. And they'll ask you clarification, information and document. Within how many days they will send you notice? 7 working days. You should reply within how many days? 7 working days. He likes it, he will approve. He does not like it, reject. Is my point clear to all? Next. Sir, you know what happened? Mito both are problem. Application also problem. Aadhaar also problem. Application also problem. If application is found deficient, plus Aadhaar authentication required, you did not opt only, or Aadhaar authentication failed, or identified by the portal based on risk parameter, or proper officer deems it fit to carry out physical verification. People, for this problem, what will they do? Aadhaar problem, physical verification. For application problem, what will they do? Notice. So now, first they will do physical verification, and now they will give you the notice, but notice will not be 7 days. 30 days from the date of submission of application. You have to go ahead and reply within how many days? 7 working days. They like it, within the next 7 days. Approve. They don't like it, Proper officer will go ahead and record the reason and they will go ahead and reject. Is my point clear to all? Everyone over here. Sir, I gave my application. Application is fine. Aadhaar is also fine. 7 days they should approve, right? Or sir, if Aadhaar is not fine, within 30 days, officer should come check everything, yes or no? So they are going in and telling, if officer fails to take action, within how many days? 7 working days in case of successful Aadhaar authentication, or 30 days from the submission in case of failure or not opting, or where physical verification was required, or 7 working days after you provided the clarification information document. If officer does not take any action, then what, sir? Then it says application deemed to have been approved and your registration certificate will be made available within how many days? 3 days. Post expiry of the 7 days, 30 days or 7 days, you will be given within how many days? 3 days. Is my point clear to all? Remember, this 7 days is always 7 working days. 30 days is always 30 days. Everyone over here now. Always remember, whenever registration certificate is given, no, please take one printout, put on the wall and keep it. Rule number 18 says, display the registration certificate in the prominent location in your additional place or principal place of business, and also display your GSTN number on your head. Head means the notice board which is there. On the name board exhibited at the entry of the principal place and additional place of business. Everyone over here now. Listen. Whenever your registration is granted, you have to go online and give your bank account detail. Remember, whenever registration is granted, you will become what, everyone? Registered person. And rule number 10A goes ahead and says, you should always furnish what? Bank account details within how many days? 30 days from the date of grant of registration, or before furnishing your first GSTR1, or using which facility? Invoice furnishing facility, whichever is earlier. Tell me one thing. I am granted registration today. Within how many days I should give my bank account detail? 30 days or before your first GSTR1, whichever is earlier. Is my point clear till here? Chalo, I'll give you a short break. And then I will go ahead and do the next important point which is there. Let's take a short break, everyone. Chalo, let's continue. Everyone over here now. See, now always remember one thing. This is the most important part for your exam. If you go ahead and apply, everyone, if you go ahead and apply for a registration, whenever you become liable, people, when do you become liable? Supposingly, you crossed your 40 lakh limit. Do you become liable for registration? Yes. Sir, I did interstate supply. Do I become liable for registration? Yes. Sir, I am a CTP. Am I liable for registration? Yes. Remember one thing, not for CTP and NRTP, because they have to apply 5 days prior. If normally, supposingly, I cross my 40 lakh limit, did I become liable? I should always take registration. Within how many days, everyone? 30 days. If I take registration within 30 days, I became liable. I should apply within the next 30 days. If I apply within 30 days and registration certificate is granted, registration certificate will valid from which date, everyone? From the date of becoming liable. Remember one thing, sir, if application is submitted within how many days? 30 days of becoming liable. Yes, sir. Then always remember, registration will be effective from the date of becoming liable. Everyone here, I became liable. 30 days got over here. I did not apply within 30 days. I applied after 30 days and registration granted. Registration will valid from which date? From the date of grant. Always remember, registration will valid from the date of grant if you did not apply within 30 days. This point, I like it because 1 mark a question or 2 mark a question can come. Everyone over here down now. Listen, rule number 10B. They went ahead and told there are 3 reasons. There are 3 reasons for which Aadhaar authentication is mandatory. People, you know what? When you took registration, how did you take registration? You had taken registration prior to 1/4/2020. Did you do your Aadhaar authentication or did not do? Did not do. or you took registration by going ahead and getting your physical verification of place of business done. You got your premises ka physical verification done and you took registration. And you took, did you do your Aadhaar authentication or did not do? Did not do. They are going ahead and telling, beta listen, there are 3 reasons, R. If these 3 reasons are there, for these 3 reasons, your Aadhaar authentication is mandatory. Means if you did not do Aadhaar authentication, these 3 things can't happen. Number 1, revocation application. Sir, my registration is cancelled. Please revoke my cancellation order, sir. Please revoke the cancellation order. Then your Aadhaar authentication is mandatory. So, sir, I was already registered earlier only. But still, if you want to apply revocation application, you have to do Aadhaar authentication. Number 2, refund if you want to apply under rule number 89. Sir, it's written here only. People started writing. Everyone here. For filing revocation application, for filing what? Refund application under rule number 89. For filing refund under rule number 96. RRR. What is RRR, everyone? Revocation application, refund application under rule number 89 and refund application under rule number 96. These 3 things ke liye your Aadhaar authentication is mandatory. Are we clear, everyone? Sir, I took registration by getting physical premises ka verification done. Now, Baba, if you want to do this 3 RRR, any one of them, your Aadhaar authentication is mandatory. See, rule number 10B introduced. Rule number 10B goes ahead and says, registered person other than 25/6D. Who is other than 25/6D, everyone? New Delhi PSU. Are you able to follow me? New Delhi PSU. Now, other than New Delhi PSU, whoever is issued registration certificate, means individual, authorized signatory, managing authorized partner, karta, etc., who have been issued registration certificate shall undergo Aadhaar authentication of whom? Proprietor. Listen. And of authorized signatory. Any partner and of the authorized signatory. Sir, HUF में karta and of the authorized signatory. Company का केस में MD और whole time director of a company and the authorized signatory. Member of the managing committee of association of person, body of individual, society, or trustee of the board of trustees in case of trust and of the authorized signatory. They are telling you should undergo Aadhaar authentication. For what reason, everyone? What are the 3 reasons? RRR. What is R? Revocation, refund under rule number 89 and refund under rule number 96. Listen, sir, I don't have Aadhaar only. I want to file revocation application. What to do? Do one thing. If no Aadhaar, then do one thing. Furnish Aadhaar enrollment ID slip plus bank passbook with photograph or voter ID or passport or driving license. Sir, what you have to give? Aadhaar enrollment ID slip plus bank passbook with photo or voter ID or passport or driving license, and they will accept your application. But you know what, everyone? Proviso. Such person shall undergo Aadhaar authentication within a period of how many days? 30 days of allotment of Aadhaar number. Once Aadhaar number is allotted, within 30 days you have to undergo Aadhaar authentication. Then we have one total bakwas section, rule number 25. This is just for you to read at home. Read at home, everyone. Read at home. Okay? Chalo, please come to the next page. Everyone over here now, listen. We went ahead and learned section number 20. Baba, we went ahead and learned section number 22, person who are liable. 23, person who are not liable. Section number 24, compulsory. 25, procedure. Section number 25, one I told you should apply within 30 days. CTP, NRTP, 5 days prior. SEZ, separate registration. TWI, nearest coastal state. 25, one done. After that, we went ahead and learned the whole process also. Now we have section number 25.2, multiple place of business, multiple registration. 25.3, voluntary registration. 25.4 and 5, distinct person. 25.6, PAN is mandatory. 6A, 6B, 6C, 6D. Who are required? Who are required? New Delhi. Who are required? I am the Karta. Who is not required? New Delhi PSU. Next. 25.7 went ahead and told about NRTP. People, NRTP ke liye what they have gone ahead and told. If you are NRTP, you should give application in GST REG 0. 9, and along with that you should give your self-attested copy of the passport, and you should apply always how many days prior? 5 days prior to the commencement of business. And always remember, you should deposit your tax in advance, and on the basis of that one TRN number will be given, temporary reference number. After that verification will happen and registration certificate will be granted. Sir, application made by NRTP should always be signed or verified by whom? Authorized signatory who is a resident of India and having a valid PAN. Everyone over here, if you fail, this is not important from exam point of view. Rule number 8 is just a reading category. You guys can read at home, but I'll still tell you. If you fail to take registration, always remember, proper officer will go ahead and register you on his own. Means suo moto registration will be done. Can I go ahead, everyone? Next. Section number 25(9), again not very important, but I'll still tell you simple. People, wherever it is important, we'll concentrate more. Wherever it is not important, reading category. You guys can just read it once. Okay? Next. Section number 25(9) goes ahead and talks about UIN holder. You know, Specialized Agency of United Nations, MFIOs, all these consulates, embassies, etc. Whenever they buy anything, whatever GST they pay, no, the GST goes to the government and government has to give them a refund. So what government does is, government gives them UIN number. Government gives them what, everyone? UIN number. So whenever they are buying, they can give the UIN number to that person. That person will give the GST to the government under his UIN number and government will give him a refund. That is why all these consulates, embassies, etc. are given what, everyone? UIN number. That's all. You guys can just read. This is again a reading category. Can I go ahead, everyone? Next. Section number 25 done. Now we have section number 26 over here. Section number 26 goes ahead and talks about, sir, deemed registration. You took registration under the SGST Act. It will be deemed that your registration under the CGST Act also. If your registration is rejected under SGST Act, deemed rejected under the CGST Act also. Total bakwas section. Everyone, next. Come to section number 27. People, tell me one thing. What did I teach you till now? 22. Person who are liable. 23. Person who are not liable. 24. Compulsory registration. 25. Procedure. 26. Deemed registration. Now 27 we are going to talk about, which talks about CTP and NRTP. People watching at home, are we all enjoying it? Can we go ahead? People over here, are we all getting it? Chalo. Everyone over here now. Section number 27 goes ahead and talks about special provision for CTP and NRTP. I'll tell you one thing, what is very, very important in this. You have to remember one thing. I'll tell you, simple. CTP and NRTP, whenever they commence the business, no, they should always apply how many days prior? 5 days. Okay? Always remember one thing, they are given registration for how many days, everyone? 90 days. No, not 90 days. It is always for the period specified or 90 days, whichever is less. If you go ahead and tell, who is this? Jay is telling, okay, tell sir, tell. If you go ahead and ask registration for 10 days or 90 days, how many days you will get? 10 or 90? 10 days. Always remember 90 days is the maximum date you are maximum time you are given registration. So registration will be given how many days? 10 days or 90 days, whichever is earlier. Everyone over here, listen. So sir, you will always be given registration for how many days? Supposingly 90 days you took registration. Sir, the exhibition is going long. I want more time. Then can you be given extension? Yes, extension can be given further by how many days? 90 days. Sir, I want more than 180 days. Baba, more than 180 days is not possible. You are a casual taxable person. 90 plus 90 say more extension is not possible. If you want more extension, take normal registration. When you are leaving the state and going, cancel your registration and get lost. Are we all clear till here? So they have gone ahead and told over here, before commencing your business, how many days prior you have to apply? CTP should apply in which form? REC 01. NRTP should apply in REC 09 along with self-attested copy of the passport. Plus they have to pay net estimated tax liability in advance, and that amount will be credited to the e-cash ledger. Remember, the post that verification will be done and the registration certificate will be granted. Once the registration certificate is granted, only then they should go ahead and start their business. Their registration is always given for how many days? 90 days. They want for more 90 days. Can more 90 days be given? Yes. Sir, but if you want more time, then more time ke liye, more additional tax liability has to be paid. Sir, after 180 days gets over, there is a circular which came and told that, sir, more than 180 days, you can't be casual in a state. You can't be casual taxable person. You have to take what, everyone? Normal registration. Don't pay any tax in advance. Not required. Now, normal registration. When you are leaving and going, please surrender your registration and get lost. Are we all clear till here? Now we have section number 28, which talks about amendment of registration. Remember one thing, amendment ke liye, there are three parts which are there. One is core field amendment, mean the important fields of your amendment, important fields of your registration has changed. You know what? At the time of taking registration, you would have given lot of details. These all details you gave, no? If there is any change in this detail, you should always go for what, everyone? Amendment. Amendment can be of three types. One is core field amendment, one is non-core field amendment, and one is PAN change. Always remember one thing. Supposingly, I went ahead and transferred my business to my friend. Now my friend has to go ahead and take fresh registration. Can he do amendment in my registration only and take? Sir, change my PAN number, put his PAN number in my registration. That is not possible. He has to take fresh registration. Remember one thing, apply for fresh amendment, fresh registration in GST RG 01. Non-core field means might be your bank account detail has changed, might be your authorized signatory has changed. Remember one thing, all these small amendments which are there, no, for that they are going ahead and telling what? You don't have to go ahead and need proper officer ka approval. Just go online, submit REG 14 and your registration certificate will get amended. But important from exam point of view, you should remember what are the core field amendment. Third class question it is, but still can ask. Sir, which are the amendments which are core field amendment? Remember, if your legal name of the business has changed, that's a core field amendment. Sir, address of the principal place or additional place of business has changed, or addition, deletion, retirement of partner, director, karta, managing committee, board of trustees, CEO, who are responsible for the day-to-day affairs of the business, which do not need cancellation, only amendment is enough. Then remember one thing, in these three cases, you will have to get the amendment done. And you know what happens? In these three cases, because they are the core field amendment, proper officer will do the verification and only then the amendment will be granted. So here it goes ahead and says, whenever any amendment will happen, you have to apply within how many days, everyone? 15 days. In which form, everyone? Apply in RG 14 along with document. Officer will do the verification. If officer is of the opinion that amendment is warranted, documents are complete and correct, he will approve the amendment within how many days? 15 working days, and he will issue an order in GST RG 15. But sir, if amendment is not warranted or documents are incomplete or incorrect, then he will serve a love letter, so cause notice within how many days? 15 days. You have to go ahead and give all the clarification, etc. within how many days? 7 days. He likes it, he will approve the amendment and issue an order. He does not like it, he will reject the application and issue an order. Are we all clear till here? But in this point, what is the most important point, everyone? What are the core field amendment? Can you tell me, everyone? What are the core field amendment? Legal name, address of principal place or additional place of business has changed. Addition, retirement, deletion of partner, director, karta, which basically do not need cancellation, amendment can be done. Then Baba, these three fields are the core field amendment. Apply, officer will verify and the amendment will be granted. Now, this part I am not talking now. I want to come to the next page. Please come to the next page, everyone. Everyone over here, listen. Section number 29 May, they have gone ahead and told about cancellation or suspension of registration. Listen carefully. Till date, from cancellation, the only question which they have ever asked is, when can the registration be cancelled by the proper officer? And this is only the most important question which always they go ahead and focus on. Sir, what are the cases when your registration can be cancelled? Actually, section number 29 has 29.1, 29.2, section number 29.3, 29.4, and section number 29.5. But what point you have to remember? Section number 29.1 and 29.2, if you remember, that is more than enough. Everyone over here now. Section number 29.1 goes ahead and says, proper officer may suo motu, means proper officer can on his own cancel your registration, or on an application by the registered person, or legal hire can also go ahead and cancel. Supposingly one person is gone, then the legal hire also can go ahead and cancel the registration. What are the three scenarios? Number one, business discontinued or transferred. People, I stopped my business only or discontinued my business. What will I do with the registration? I have to cancel. Secondly, change in constitution of business. Earlier proprietorship, now became partnership. Partnership became company. Then in that scenario, what to do? I have to cancel my old registration. New registration has to be taken. Then taxable person no longer liable under 22 or 24, or people, you are no longer liable. Under section number 22, you have taken the registration, but you are no longer liable under 22 or 24, or you intend to opt out of voluntary registration. Then they are going ahead and telling, in these three scenarios, always remember one thing, you can go online and you can cancel your registration. The most important part being section number 29.2. Section number 29.2 goes ahead and says, when can the proper officer cancel the registration? Remember this point, everyone. When can the proper officer cancel your registration? Number one, A, when registered person contravenes such provision of the act or rules. What are the provision of the act or rules you contravene? Then your registration can be cancelled. Those are told in rule number 21. Rule number 21 goes ahead and says, this provision of the rules or act, if you contravene, your registration will be cancelled. Number one, no business from declared place of business. If you don't do any business from the declared place of business, you declared one premises as your place of business, but you are not doing any business from there. When the officer went to check that premises, there is cow is roaming here and there. Then Baba, they are going ahead and telling, officer will get angry and he will cancel your registration. So always do business from which place? From the declared place of business. You issue invoice or bill without supplying in violation of the provision of act or rules. You are issuing bogus invoice. You are issuing bogus invoice, not supplying, just selling invoices. Then your registration will be cancelled. You violate the provision of section number 171 of the act or rules made thereunder. What is section number 171? Profiteering. Baba, if you are doing profiteering, then they are going ahead and telling, Baba, miscellaneous provision may it is there, miscellaneous chapter may. We'll talk about it in miscellaneous chapter. If you are doing what, everyone? Profiteering, then also your registration can be cancelled. If you violate the provision of rule number 10A, Baba, rule number 10A went ahead and told what? Within 30 days or first GSTR1, you should give what? Bank account detail. If you go ahead and don't give your bank account detail within time, after the registration has been granted, your registration will be cancelled. Next, if you avail ITC in violation of section number 16 of the act or rules made thereunder, section number 16 of your ITC chapter goes ahead and gives you condition subject to which you should take ITC. You took ITC without fulfilling the condition only, your registration will be cancelled. You furnish the details of outward supply in GSTR1 more than the outward supply declared in the valid return under section number 39. People, in your GSTR1, you are showing sale of 1 crore, 18 lakh liability. You are passing on the credit how much? 18 lakh. When you have to file your GSTR3B, no, in GSTR3B you showed your sale of only 1 lakh and 18,000 GST. Government is telling, if you do such kind of cheating, wherein GSTR1 may you are showing more sale, GSTR3B may you are showing less sale, your registration will be cancelled. If you violate the provision of rule number 86B, rule number 86B went ahead and told at least 1% of the tax should be paid in cash. If you don't go ahead and pay 1% at least in cash, your registration will be cancelled. Being a registered person, if you have not filed your return under section number 39 for each month or part thereof, and you have not furnished for a continuous period of 6 months, means you have to file GSTR 3B. GSTR 3B not filed for 6 months, your registration will be cancelled. Being a registered person required to furnish return under section number 39, 1 for each quarter or part thereof, and you have not furnished for how many period? Continuous 2 tax period. People, if you are monthly return wala person and you have not filed for how many months? 6 months. Registration cancelled. If you are under quarterly return and you have not filed for how many months? 6 quarter means how many quarter? 6 months means how many quarter? 2 quarter, then your registration will be cancelled. Next. So people, A point understood. Now we are moving to B. If you are a composition supplier and you have not furnished your return for a financial year beyond 3 months from the due date of furnishing the said return. People always remember, composition dealer, once the year gets over, by 30th of April, he should file GSTR 4. Yes, everyone? If you don't file your GSTR 4 within how many months? 3 months, your registration will get cancelled. The next one, a registered person other than composition person, no return for a continuous tax period as may be prescribed. What is it, everyone? Registered person other than composition person. Normal person. Normal person, if he does not file his return for how many months? 6 months or 2 quarter, his registration will be cancelled. They are telling registered person other than composition, no return for such continuous tax period as may be prescribed. And prescribed was here, no. Can I go ahead, everyone? Next. Sir, voluntary registered person has not commenced business within 6 months. You told, I want registration, I want registration, I want registration. You took registration, but when the officer gave you registration, after that, 6 months you did not do business only. Unnecessarily you are filing nil return, nil return, nil return. They will cancel your registration. The next one over here, if registration was obtained by what? Fraud, willful misstatement or suppression. If you gave wrong document and you entered and took registration, they will go ahead and cancel your registration. Is my point clear till here? In your exam, the most important point is section number 29.2. In section number 29, this is the only most important point which is there. Everyone over here, 29.3 goes ahead and says that, sir, if your registration is cancelled, it does not mean that if you have any liability which is payable, you will not pay. You are still liable to pay whatever is the dues. 29.4 says registration cancelled under SGST Act, registration cancelled under CGST Act. Section number 29.5 says when your registration is cancelled, you will take all the assets home. Are yes or no? When you take all the assets home, whatever the ITC you took or whatever is the output tax payable, if you sell that asset, whichever is higher, you have to go ahead and pay that GST to the government. But I don't believe these are important. From exam point of view, section number 29.2 is the most important part. Everyone over here now. This procedure not required to be remembered from exam point of view, not very important. Can I go ahead, everyone? Next. Now listen. Sir, my registration is cancelled. Please, sir, don't cancel my registration. You can apply for what, everyone? Revocation. One of the most important point which I want you guys to remember is whenever you want to apply for revocation, sir, my registration cancelled. Cancellation order came. Run, Baba, run. You should apply for revocation within how many days? 90 days. Further, the revocation ka time limit can be extended by how many days, everyone? 180 days. 90 days and 180 days. Sir, I went in and applied for revocation. Proper officer is satisfied. He will revoke the cancellation order and he will issue an order within how many days, everyone? 20. Within how many days? 30 days. Remember this point also. Revocation ka order will be given within how many days? 30 days. But sir, if the officer is not satisfied that he should revoke my cancellation, then he will give me a love letter. I should reply within how many days? 7 days. And within the next 30 days, if proper officer is satisfied, he will revoke the cancellation and issue an order. If he is not satisfied, he will reject and he will pass an order. Can we go ahead, everyone? Everyone over here now. Listen. One point which I feel, see, when your registration cancellation proceedings are going on, now, when your registration cancellation proceedings are going on, your registration gets suspended. When your registration cancellation proceedings are going on, your registration gets what, everyone? Suspended. Clear? Although suspension pe they don't go ahead and ask any question, but I still feel point number 1, 2 and 2A. When can your registration be suspended? When can your registration be suspended? These 3 points you can just read once and go. This is nothing very important for me to explain, but you can read and go, when can your registration be suspended? These 3 points, I find them important. You can just read it. Everyone over here now. चलो प्लीज कम टू योर टॉप ओवर हियर, रजिस्ट्रेशन का चैप्टर, section number 22, 23 and 24. People, 2 to 4 marks will come from this chart. 22, 23 and 24. Who are required, who are not liable and who are required to take compulsory registration. Very, very important from exam point of view. Please remember the limit. You'll remember everyone. 10 lakh, 10 lakh, 20 lakh, 20 lakh, 40 and 20. Will you remember? Please do some question on aggregate turnover. Whenever I am telling important points, please mark it. Okay, everyone? Please do some question on aggregate turnover. Next. In this chart, just remember biometric based verification is applicable only for 3 states. Remember, now it is applicable for whom? Andhra, Gujarat and Puducherry. Gap. It is applicable to gap. Gujarat, Andhra, Puducherry. Can we go ahead, everyone? Next. This point you can remember that whenever a person becomes liable, he should apply within how many days? 30 days. CTP and RTP, 5 days prior. SEZ separate. TWI nearest coastal state. This point remember. This point you can remember. Whenever you become liable, you should apply within how many days, everyone? Student is telling, sir, Gujju, Ajju, Pujju. What is Gujju? Gujju means Gujarati. Ajju means Andhra Pradesh. Pujju means Puducherry. Okay, ठीक है. Everyone over here now. Next. If you are becoming liable, you should apply within how many days? 30 days. If you apply within 30 days, registration granted valid from which day? From the date of becoming liable. If you did not apply within 30 days, then from the date of grant. Please mark this point. Remember, bank account details should be furnished within how many days? 30 days or first GSTR1. Mark it. Rule number 10B, I like this rule. RRR. Remember RRR. RRR. Can we go ahead, everyone? Revise again. You will remember everything in your exam. Can we go ahead, everyone? Now, please come to the next chart. Remember, in this, who are required Aadhaar authentication, who are not required. Remember, the most important point is that only. Who are required? I am the Karta. Who are not required? New Delhi, PSU. Can we go ahead, everyone? Next. Here, you can remember in CTP and RTP, CTP and RTP should apply how many days prior? 5 days prior. You will be granted registration for 90 plus 90. That's all. 90 plus 90. Next. What are the core field amendment? Read what are the core field amendment. ठीक है? Next. Cancellation में I like when can the proper officer cancel your registration? Please remember these points. When can the proper officer cancel your registration? Please remember. And here, people, this one which is there, no, not required. This is all not required. ठीक है? What I am telling over here, अरे बाबा, the same book we use for regular class also. So in regular class, if I have to teach anything, everything I draw in the chart book only. ठीक है, everyone? No. Otherwise, no, what happens? No. Student will also start drawing. So it will waste time. So everything is there. Now, revocation may, you can remember, apply within how many days? 90. If you did not apply, then you want extension how many days? 180 days. An officer will always give within how many days? That's all. This is it from the chapter of registration. People, please solve question answers and go for your exam. If you do question answer, 100% you will be able to attempt everything. What I have told you from the registration chapter, in my opinion, question should come from that. If anything comes outside also, please solve question answers and go. You will be able to attempt. Are we all clear, everyone? I'll go ahead and close my revision on the chapter of registration.